Hey guys, this is Chris, strat-o-matic Delaware, continuing our strat-o-matic baseball advanced and SADv tutorial series. Not much left to go. We've covered most of the rule book beyond basic. We're on page 10 now, bottom right corner, rule 24.0. We'll be working on balks, wild pitches, passed balls, pickoffs. We're also going to cover on the following page injuries, resting batters, pitcher fatigue, and closing situations. And that'll pretty much cover it, what we're going to do here. So let's get going. Super advanced here. Pickoffs and balks, these are optional rules. I like using them. If you are using the optional system for individual balks, wild pitches, passed balls, pickoffs, and balks are possible when using the supplementary stealing system. A more complete description of the balk, wild pitch, passed ball system is in section 29. We'll include pickoff and balk play here for your convenience. Yeah, so I probably should have included this in the stealing one. Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, let's do it. That should have been in with the stealing, and I didn't realize that. Well, we'll go ahead and cover it. Let's just hit it all. Okay, when rolling for a lead when you're stealing, also roll the 20-sided die along with the 2 colored die. When you're rolling for the lead, also roll the d20. If the 20-sided die is 3 through 20, discard this die and continue normally with the supplementary stealing system. If a 1 is rolled, the runner attempting the lead may be picked off. Refer to the runner's second steal success rating and roll the 20-sided die again. So if you roll a 1 and you've gotten a lead, Otis Nixon, his second rating unadjusted is a 16. So as long as he rolls 1 through 16, he gets back to base safely. If he was to roll a 17 through a 20, he would have been caught off first base, picked off. If the, if the 20-sided die roll is 2, there is a possible balk. Refer to the pitcher's balk rating at the top of his card and roll it again. If the number is less to or equal than his balk rating, a balk has occurred and all base runners advance a base. BK, balk rating is 0, so he's not going to have a balk. If it rolls a 2, there's no balk. Okay, yeah, that probably should have been included with stealing, but we've covered it here. Injuries, players out of position. Injuries may occur to any player, any batter, including pinch hitters, if the result of your dice roll includes the phrase plus injury. If you're using the DH rule, injury occurs to the pitcher in the field when the white 6 and the 2 D6s totaling 12, so 3 6s is rolled, and the DH is at bat. So if the DH is at bat and 3 6s are rolled, the pitcher can possibly be injured. First complete the play, then roll the 20-sided die and consult the charts for the duration of the injury. For super advanced play, refer to the injury chart on the miscellaneous charts. So for advanced play, you refer to that injury chart right there. For super advanced play, you refer to that injury chart right there. But for basic and advanced, you go to the basic strategy chart. Sometimes injuries will force a manager to substitute and to use a substitute at an unfamiliar position. If there are no remaining players rated for a position, try to use a similar player there, an infielder in the infield, an outfielder in the outfield. In most cases, the substitute at the unfamiliar position plays with the worst possible defensive rating, a 5 range rating, the highest E rating possible for the player, a +5 throwing arm, and or a catcher, a throwing error, and pass ball ratings of 1 through 20. The exception is a rated outfielder playing another outfield position that is not listed on his card. In such cases, the outfielder's E rating and arm rating remain unchanged and he does not automatically become a 5. Use the outfield fielding adjustment chart on page 18 to adjust his range rating. And that chart is on the page after all of these charts. That chart is that wee little one right there. A center fielder can play either with no change. A right fielder is +1 in his range. So if he's a right fielder 2, he is a center fielder 3. No change for left. A left fielder, if he's a left fielder 2, he's a center fielder 4 and a right fielder 3. That little chart right there. When assigning a player who is rated at 2 outfield positions to play the third, base a new rating on the first one listed on his card. Bringing in a position player to pitch. In extreme emergencies, a manager may bring in a position player to pitch. The penalties are steep. Defense is -5, E51. Hold is +9. Relief endurance is 1/N. May not be a closer. Balk 20, wild pitch 20. And use the pitching card on page 18 while a position player is pitching. That card right there. It's kind of ugly. Try to avoid using that at all costs. Unless you know which hand the player throws with, assume that a left-handed batter throws left and a right-handed batter throws right for lefty-righty splits. Resting batters. As in the basic game, you should limit batters to their actual at-bats and pitchers to their actual innings pitched. Batters should be used only at the fielding position as listed on their cards. Starting pitchers should not be used as relievers or relief pitchers. Should not be used as starters unless the pitcher has listings for both on his card. If a pitcher's name is on the roster sheet is followed by an asterisk, he may start a game with only 3 games rest between starts. Pitchers with no asterisk needs 4 games rest. Now 4 days, 4 games it says. Actually 4 days would do it. It says games and games. But you may have an off day in your schedule, so I would really, if you're doing a schedule, I would substitute that with 3 games and 3 days and 4 days. But again, if you're playing with other people, use the rules that are in the rule book, as they're stated in the rule book, unless agreed upon. 26.2 Super Advanced SADv. The only additional rule for resting uninjured batters is a guideline recommended for solitaire play and SADv strat-o-matic. When used together, the SADv injury chart, the solitaire player rest chart, and the solitaire starting lineup usage chart, all 3 are found under Super Advanced Miscellaneous on the reverse side from the fielding chart, will provide realistic player usage. Injury chart, solitaire player rest chart, and the lineup usage chart. I think it said, or was it Super Advanced Starting Pitchers Rest Chart? That's what it was, these 3 here. If you're playing a solitaire full season, that will help your at-bats and everything be realistic. Select your starting lineup. Roll 1 6-sided die and check the solitaire starting lineup usage chart to determine which 3 batters may have to be rested. So you're going to roll a 6-sided die and see which 3 players might have to be rested. Then, for each of these batters, total his actual at-bats and walks found on the basic side of his card. Refer to the proper section of the solitaire rest chart and roll a 20-sided die to see if the player must rest for each one. So right here, solitary rest, total at-bats plus walks, split range to rest the player always, 119, 118, depending on how many walks and at-bats total. And you've got a second column right there. 600 plus, never. They don't miss a game. Don't have to miss a game. And I like getting as many 600 plus at-bat players as possible whenever I'm playing the online version. They don't get injured. If a player is to be rested is the last player available rated to play a position, then he may start the game. If a player is to be rested, he does not start the game. However, he may be used as a pinch hitter, pinch runner, or late inning defensive replacement, or as a substitute in case of injury. Eliminates all others who can play the position that the resting player is rated to play. Pitcher endurance. Find each pitcher's point of weakness in the upper right portion of the advanced side of his card. It's the number in parentheses next to starter or relief. So Robin Roberts is a starter. His point of weakness starts in the 7. If he comes in relief, his point of weakness starts at 3. The number after the 0 is his closer fatigue. I'll cover that with the next rule, I believe. All advanced side pitcher cards have out readings followed by a dot. When a pitcher is fatigued, these readings change from their original outs to single 2 stars. All runners advance 2 bases. So if he is fatigued, this strikeout followed by a dot is now a 2-star single. This strikeout followed by a dot is now a 2-star single. Once a pitcher reaches his point of weakness, POW, point of weakness, it cannot be overcome. No matter how well he pitches afterwards, we strongly recommend you relieve a fatigued pitcher. A pitcher reaches his point of weakness in either one of 2 ways. He either reaches his point of weakness inning or any inning after that and allows a combination of 3 hits and or unintentional walks in the same inning. If he does this, his point of weakness begins with the next batter after the 3rd hit and or walk. The second way this can happen is he reaches his point of weakness inning or any inning after that and allows any combination of 4 hits or unintentional walks in any 2 consecutive innings. So that means he has to give up 2 in one inning and 2 in the next. If he gives up, well, it could be 3 in 1 or 1 in 3, but if he gives up 3 in the first inning, this one will apply. If he gives up 3 in the second inning, this one will actually apply as well. So this really, if he gives up 2 in his point of weakness inning and 2 the following inning, he becomes fatigued on the very next batter. Intentional walks, batters hit by a pitch, and errors do not contribute to a pitcher's point of weakness, nor do any hits or walks that occur before his point of weakness inning. And there are examples. A relief pitcher's point of weakness is determined by outs. A reliever with a point of weakness of 1 is immediately vulnerable to fatigue, and he could reach his point of weakness by yielding 3 hits or unintentional walks without recording an out. He could become fatigued. A reliever with a point of weakness of 2 would become vulnerable after he has recorded 3 outs. Not pitched a complete inning, but after he's recorded 3 outs. So let's say he came in with 1 out in the 7th, and his point of weakness is 2. 2nd out in the 7th, 3rd out in the 7th, 1st out in the 8th. At that point, he starts his count for 3 hits and walks in a 3-out period. Not in an inning, in a 3-out period. So he would have to give up 3 hits and walks with between 1 out in the 8th and 1 out in the 9th to be fatigued. Or 2 in that period and then 2 after that. Super advanced. Use advanced point of weakness system, but add these features. Starting pitchers. SADv starting pitcher rest chart determines how many games of rest a pitcher needs between starts. The amount varies according to whether the pitcher is a star-rated starter and how many innings he pitched in his last start. And you would use this chart right here. Previous outing innings, pitchers with star on the roster, pitchers without the star on the roster. That's how many days of rest they would need depending on how deep into a game they went. And that is for starting pitchers. A pitcher used in relief in his last outing should have at least 1 day of rest before starting. If he does not have this day of rest, consider him fatigued for the entire start. If a pitcher who does not have a rating as a starter must start a game, give him a point of weakness inning of 4. So if he has relief on his card and not starter, his point of weakness is 4. Maximum number of innings a starter can pitch without fatigue is 11. If he starts the 12th inning, he is fatigued. Right there, walking on the mound, he is fatigued. Starter who does not have it may lose his stuff before his point of weakness inning. If a starter gives up 5 runs in any inning, he is fatigued. 6 runs in any 2 consecutive innings, fatigued. 7 runs in any 3 consecutive innings, consider him fatigued, and convert all readings followed by dots to single 2 stars. All runners advance 2 bases. Relief pitchers, 27-6. A pitcher used as a starter in his last outing must rest the number of days indicated on the SADv starting pitcher rest chart before his next appearance, whether it is as a starter or a reliever. If a relief pitcher is used without this proper rest, consider him fatigued for the entire relief outing. If a pitcher who does not have a rating as relief must pitch in relief, give him a point of weakness inning of 1. So that means if he's got starter and not relief, he can come in relief, but he is immediately vulnerable to weakness. The maximum number of innings a reliever can pitch without fatigue in his point of weakness inning +2. Is his point of weakness inning +2. So without fatigue, Robin Roberts would be able to, he has 3 innings of relief. He could pinch 5 innings of relief maximum. He starts that 16th out, the first batter after the 15th out, he would be fatigued immediately. Relief pitchers cannot be used more than 2 straight days. After pitching 2 straight days, he must rest at least 1. There's a rule update for 2010. Closer rule. We are getting there. This SADv system encourages realistic use of relief pitchers, emphasizing the use of pitchers in late inning save situations. Since 92, each reliever is given a second point of weakness rating. Call it the closer endurance. For example, a rating of relief 2/3 indicates the regular point of weakness rating of 2 and a closer endurance rating of 3. Closer ratings range from 0 to 6, with 6 being the big league's most frequent and successful closers. If a relief pitcher is rated N for closer endurance, he should not be used as a closer. As you can see, Robin Roberts, he's a starter, but he does have relief 3. His closer rating is 0. Closer endurance is a duration measured in number of outs a pitcher can maintain his effectiveness in closer situations. In strat-o-matic, a closer situation is defined differently than big league save opportunity. Your pitcher will be in a closer situation whenever you have the lead in the 9th inning or later, and the tying run is on base or at the plate. So that is a closer situation for strat-o-matic. You have the lead in the 9th inning or later, and the tying run is on base or at the plate. A pitcher may enter the game in a closer situation, or a game he already has entered may suddenly become a closer situation. Here are some rules to govern both possibilities. The closer rules do not affect current game starting pitchers, who always use their starting point of weakness, even for starting pitchers who have ratings both as starters and relievers. So the closer rules don't affect the game's starters. Each reliever enters the game using either his closer endurance, if the game is already in a closer situation, or his regular point of weakness rating, if it is not currently in a closer situation. If the pitcher begins his appearance with his regular point of weakness, and the game becomes a closer situation, he changes to his closer endurance rating. At that time, reduces closer endurance by the number of outs he has already recorded. So say he has a relief rating of 2, closer rating of 3, like up here, and he comes in 1 out in the 8th, records 2 outs. They get to the top of the 9th. Man gets on base, and the tying runner is at the plate. So he has already recorded 2 outs, so now you move to his closer rating, and it is reduced by the 2 outs he already did, so now his closer rating is only 1. Once the pitcher begins to use his closer endurance rating, that is his endurance for the remainder of his appearance, even if the score changes and the game is no longer a closer situation. The closer endurance rating is the number of outs the pitcher can record before becoming fatigued. Once this number has been reached, reducing his endurance rating to 0, he becomes fatigued as soon as he allows 1 hit or walk. Any pitcher with a closer endurance rating of N is immediately considered fatigued with the first batter he faces in a closer situation. So pitchers with N may not be the closer. However, if they're in the game and a closing situation comes up, he is immediately considered fatigued with the first batter he faces in a closer situation. As with regular point of weakness, once a reliever becomes fatigued under the terms of the closer rule, out readings followed by dots become single 2 stars. When using the closer rule, also be sure to use the rule which limits the reliever's innings to his relief point of weakness rating plus 2. At that point, he automatically becomes fatigued. And some other rules, we are going to do one more separate video for these guys. So, covered a little bit there. We've got one more video we're going to do on the rule book. Hopefully this is helping you guys out. I really hope it is. It's going it over for me again. As I said in the first video, I'm still learning SADv. I have not been playing it much, but I've got a decent grasp on it, and I wanted to put these videos out. They were requested in a game that I put on last night, so I figured what better time than the present. Let's get some videos out there and help some guys play some better baseball, you know what I mean? Again, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and if you're interested in purchasing this game, go to www.strat-o-matic.com. They make this game and others, and get it from them. And guys, this is Chris, Strat-o-matic Delaware. Get the game and keep on rolling.